And then one other tour that I want to mention is the Used are going to be celebrating their 25th anniversary in 2025. Their first three albums, they're going to be playing in full at each of these shows. Their 2002 self-titled record, which is the one that I'm most familiar with, one of my favorite records from when I was back in college, as well as In Love and Death, which came out in 2004, I believe, and then 2007's Lies for the Liars. So each city and each night, they're going to be playing a different record in full in Detroit, Boston, New York, Chicago, Denver, LA, San Diego, as well as a couple of other cities that are on that tour as well. It's going to kick off April the 3rd and it's going to run until May the 16th in the spring of 2025. And like I said, 3 nights for each city, performing each album for each night. That is a pretty hefty tour, whether that be from a set list and a production standpoint for the stage production, because to be able to put something together every night for a different album, and then to be able to sell out and fill those venues. Not to say that I don't think the Used is capable of filling out those venues, but I do think that is really ambitious for any band to try and embark on a different album each night in each city. I do feel like they'll probably do really well. Will it sell out? I'm not really too sure, but I really do love when bands do this. I love when they honor their classic albums. I know Weezer's done that in the past, where they've played the Pinkerton album or the Blue album in full every night. Really, really cool. Biffy Clyro did that recently, where they played their first 3 albums in full every night as well. And I really think that's a good way for bands to go out there and to continue to honor and play their back catalog. Although I think the Used are still really strong with their new material as well. Their Toxic Positivity album, which came out last year, and then the Meds album, which I think came out earlier this year or last year as well. Those really, really solid efforts from the Used. And I actually saw the Used live last year at Echo Beach in Toronto. And it was a very, very interesting show. We got rained out for a bunch. Anyways, we went to go see Don Broco because Don Broco was opening up for the Used. We wanted to see Don Broco. They got rained out, but we ended up seeing Pierce the Veil and the Used, and I really enjoyed that. It was like reliving my college years. That first debut record from the Used in 2002 was a huge record for me in my first year of university. When I think back to songs like Taste of Ink or Buried Myself Alive, songs like that, On My Own, Blue and Yellow, I believe, is the other one that I really liked. And then some of the other tracks from some of the other records. Another track that I really got into was called Pretty Handsome Awkward, which is from that record in 2007, which is Lies for the Liars. I got into that last year when I saw them live. Really great song. And then Burt McCracken says that these are the albums that put the Used on the map, and he's absolutely right. These are the records that made everybody Used fans. Like I said, I don't know. Like, can the Used sell out these venues playing these albums in full every night in each of these cities? I'm not too sure, but you can let me know in the comments below whether you think that's possible and if you're going to be getting tickets for these Used tour dates. Like I said, absolute tour announcement mania happening right now. It's December. There's not really a lot going on in terms of new music or new releases or anything going like that. Everybody's pretty much winding down for the year, but all these bands are just announcing tours left, right, and center for 2025. Because of the price of tickets these days, it's very hard to pick and choose which of these shows to go to, but it's still really cool. So the Used are going to be going on tour in 2025.